All right. Hello, everyone, again. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use and how do you define dictionaries in Swift programming. Again, this is a continuation to a series of videos that I will be posting regarding the Swift language. Once we finish with the Swift language, then we will get into the iOS and Xcode development, okay, app development. Now, we've talked about arrays, and arrays can hold one single, basically a list of elements, and to access these elements, you can use the index of those elements, okay, or the indices of these elements. Dictionary is a little bit different. Dictionaries, they are like, you have a list of elements, but at the same time, you have also keys that access those elements. So you can have like a student, and you give that student an ID. So you use the ID to access the name of that student. Let's go ahead and start. So to define it, it's very similar to arrays. So you can say, let's start with items, var items equal, and then you can define your elements. Here in the array, we used to put just single values. For example, item 1, and then you can put item 2, item 2, and then you can put item 3. All right. So that's how we did with that's what we did with the array. Okay. Or suppose that you want to give ID to these elements. Okay. Instead of using the item 1, item 2, item. This could be a long description. This is just an example. You can say, okay, well, I want to give an ID, a key for each of those elements, and I use this key to get the value of those elements. So how you do it, you can say, for example, you can say, I'm going to give an item number for this, 111, and now this is the value for that item. So this is your key, and this is the value. And then I'm going to access this by item number 222, and here is the value for item 222. And the last one, let's say item 333, and then again the value. So what we've done here, we've actually defined an array, a dictionary. This is called a dictionary now because it has dual value. You have the key, the first element is your key, and the corresponding value for that key. You have a key and a corresponding value for that key, and so forth. All right. So that is how you define it. Now, to access the value, you don't use an index here. You just say, for example, print line, and then I'm going to say, what is the value of items? If I want the second item, an item with a key called 222. Okay. And because it's a string, I'll have to use the string. Okay. So what happens here, you're actually looking through this dictionary, you found that element with that, you found the key, the element with that key, and then it gave you back the value, which is here. Now notice it gave me an optional item 2. Why is this an optional? It's an optional because you might find it, you might not find it. So if I do the same thing, and if I put 444, 444 does not exist in the dictionary, so I will get a nil. Okay. Didn't like that. All right, we have to stop Xcode and restart it. Hold on a second. Let me save this first. And let's see here. Let's start Xcode again. And let's open this. And then let's make sure we are sharing the screen. All right. All right. So that was the issue, is that you might get a nil when you're looking for an item that does not exist in the dictionary. So you got a nil. So what do? This is, you'll have to unwrap it, or you have to use that, you assign it to temp variable, a constant, and then you can access the value that way. So the proper way of doing it, you can say if, and then you select the value here, if C or item, okay, equal this value. That means if it exists, then you can say print line item, else we say it does not, print line item does not exist. Item 222 or whatever item does not exist. Okay. All right, there is a problem here. If let, okay, if let item equal items 222, then you get the item. Notice here you're not getting some optional anymore. You actually found it. Now, if you look at element 444, before it was giving us nil, and now it will give us what? It will give us item does not exist. All right. So that's how you define a dictionary and how you access the elements in the dictionary. All right, what's next? Let's say we want to define a dictionary that does not have any elements, and then we want to be able to add and modify these elements and remove and delete and things like that. So how do you do it? You can say var student list, students list, and then you can, it's equal to, similar to an array. Here you can say, now if you're going to say the ID is an integer, so I'm going to say we're going to have two values, the ID, which is the student ID, as an integer now, and the name we're going to make it a string. Okay, and it needs to be capital I here. All right, so I'm defining an empty dictionary. All right, now how do you add values to that dictionary? All you have to do is that you say students list, and then you give it the key value. So for example, student 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that is my first student. Let's just make it 1, 2, 3. Easier. So 1, 2, 3, and then equal, and then you give it a name. For example, Ahmed. Okay. So now I have, and I'll show you, if I do student list, you'll see that you have 1, 2, 3, and then the key value, Ahmed. Okay. Now, you can do the same thing. You can add more, of course. Let's add a few more. And let's change this 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is 1, 2, 3, 3, 5, and then 3, 6, or 1, 2, 1, 2, 6. All right, and then you can just give him a name here. I'm going to say Jennifer. And I'm going to say here Omar. And I'm going to say here hello. Okay. All right. So these are the dictionary now contains the following elements. All right. Now, how do you change a particular value? You can do it in two ways. You can say student list, and then you can say you give it the ID that you want to change. For example, 1, 2, 3, and then you make it whatever value you want. Okay. So now that is, it actually changes that value. This value is not anymore 1, 2, 3 is actually not Ahmed, it's Yasmin. And to show you, you can just put that list there again, and then you'll see that Yasmin is for that key value. Now, the other way you can do it is that you can use student list, and then you can say update value, and then here you need to give it a value. Again, let's say Omar, and then we change it to for the no. This is the value. Let's say Ali, and then the key here is going to be for Omar was 125. Okay. So now this will change. You'll see that 125 is Ali. So this is how you do it. You can update the elements or the dictionary for a particular item. Okay, so you give it the key and a value, or you give it a value and the key using the update value method. All right, how do you remove it? You can just do remove. How do you remove it? You can say student list dot remove all, remove index, or remove what for key. So if I say remove for key and I put the key is what you say 1, 2, 3, and then you hit enter, notice that key is gone anymore. 1, 2, 3. All right. The other way, you can assign it to nil. So you can say, let's add it back in. Okay, you'll see that it is 1, 2, 3 is back in. And if you make it equal to nil, and make that equal to nil, you'll see that it will disappear from the list again. All right, so 1, 2, 3 is gone from the list again. All right, one more thing, and then we'll be done with the dictionaries. The last thing I'm going to show you is that how do you go through a list of dictionary or iterate through a dictionary. The way you do it, you just say for student ID, comma, student name, and student list, and then you do the same technique we've used before. You say for print line ID equal, and then you put slash SID, and name equal slash, and then you put S name. And that is it. Now, if you run it, you see 3 items, and then you look at that, and you have, if you go to the end, those are your elements in the dictionary. All right. All right. This is the end of this video. So we've covered dictionaries. We've just covered arrays. The next topic will be covering functions, and after functions we'll be covering objects and classes and methods and some of the object-oriented concepts in Swift. All right, and see you in the next video.